Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, GPHA. And our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired on the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show tonight. We are streaming live on our social media pages, and on Facebook we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook we are streaming live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube we are live at Iron Port Ghana. Iron Port Ghana. We shall be getting interactive with you, and so all you have to do is sit back, relax, grab your phones, and send us your messages and comments via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559019177. 0559019177. When the time is ripe, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Boss, fill my tank to Euro 95.
Now out with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from GWEL.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for GWEL Super XP Ron 95. GWEL, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor,
I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance
for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, so welcome back. We're now going for some happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week in the form of local stories. And during the week, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, in collaboration with the Coastal Conservancy Organization and then the Tema West District Directorate of Education, that's Ghana Education Service, launched what we call the Green Clubs in some various schools in the Tema metropolis. Let's take a look at these stories. Plus the fact that in the course of the week, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority also paid a working visit, in fact, a trade mission to the landlord country of Burkina Faso, that's Ouagadougou, the capital, to be specific. So tonight we'll be bringing you some stories from there, plus some highlights. Enjoy.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has taken its commitment to the Green Ghana project a notch higher. In addition to planting 1,234 trees within the Tema Port Enclave, the authority has inaugurated a GPHA Green Clubs Association. The GPHA Green Clubs concept was adopted in partnership with Coastal Conservancy Organization and with support from the Ghana Education Service. The Green Clubs will help provide students from participating schools the opportunity to learn more about the environment and its associated issues while empowering them to make positive change. Members of the environmental clubs in the selected basic schools in Tema will participate in environmental protection, preservation, and conservation activities such as tree planting. The launch of the Green Clubs was met with enthusiasm from the students present, who threw their support behind this exciting initiative. Speaking at the launch on behalf of the Director General of GPHA, the General Manager in charge of Estate and Environment, James Benjamin Gazy, intimated that the overreaching goal of this initiative is to create a new generation of enlightened citizens and future leaders who are environmentally conscious.
As we inaugurate these groups, we pray that you get a right direction so you grow with this culture of environmental care and affect others as well.
The chairman of Coastal Conservancy Organization, Justice Lionel Eshen, lauded GPHA for the support shown the Urban Green Spaces Development Program, which seeks to preserve the natural areas and reduce the carbon footprint within the city.
Financing for climate activities, especially in Africa, is not very encouraging. Coastal Conservancy Organization is hereby inviting businesses and industries within Accra and Tema to emulate Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority's initiative and become partners to support the redevelopment of urban green spaces within Accra and Tema. The urgency to act is now.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has successfully completed a 5-day trade mission to the capital of Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou, to woo economic operators in that landlocked country. The trade mission forms part of efforts by the Port Authority to increase transit volumes that come through the ports of Ghana. The high-powered delegation was led by a board member of GPHA, who is the president of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Clement Osayamwakom. The delegation comprised the Director General of GPHA, Michael Luguje, the Commissioner of Customs, Alhaji Seidu Idrisu Idisa, Commissioner of Police in charge of General Services, Enoch Bediakon, the Director of Port of Tema, Sandro Poku, the Director of Port of Takrade, Pitamu Bediakon, and the Director in charge of the Port of Keta project, Dr. Alexander Edusei. The team was also made up of representatives from the Ghana Shippers Authority, State Insurance Company, Amaris Terminal, Haas Logistics, JAP2, and Save Bonds Terminal. Speaking at a forum, the leader of the delegation, Clement Osayamwakom, said Ghana's ports have seen massive improvements in recent times.
We want to be a leading hub to satisfy the entire African continent. We therefore urge you not to hesitate to continue to use our ports because they are safe and secure. We can always assure you of our security of your cargo and promise to do our best to even serve you better in the years ahead.
Apart from the excellent relationship both countries enjoy at the macro level, he noted that the Port Authority has also had a very good and fruitful relationship with the business community and economic operators of Burkina Faso over many years.
As a business entity mindful of the fierce competition we are confronted with, ours is to continue to strategize and upgrade our ports to give you efficient services and competitive rates, because that is the only attraction for the businessmen or women.
The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Logoje, said transit traffic through Ghana's ports has increased from 500 tons in 1994 to 1.1 million tons currently. He said the Port Authority remains committed towards ensuring that an enabling environment is created for transit trade to thrive.
Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority appreciates Burkina Faso for patronizing our ports and our corridor. On our records, Burkina Faso is the leading transit, a landlord country that uses our ports among the three. And we are happy to note that in Burkina Faso's records, Ghana's corridor is number 2 among the 3 corridors. And we are working very hard to ensure that we move to the number 1 position. But we can't do that alone without the continuous patronage and increased patronage of Burkina shippers, importers and exporters.
The Commissioner of Customs Division of GRA, Alhaji Seidu Suidisa, said his outfit is committed to ensuring that they facilitated trade for compliant traders. He said customs has started taking steps to ensure that transit goods are not auctioned unlawfully.
For us in customs, we always have what we call the custom-to-customs cooperation, and we are very concerned about making sure that authorized economic operators are not hindered in any way. On the issue of auctioning of goods, we have started consulting even at the internal level how we can prevent such unlawful ones from taking place.
The Commissioner of Police in charge of General Services, Enoch Bediako, who represented the Inspector General of Police, said the police administration has introduced snap checkpoints on the Ghanaian corridor to curb armed robbery, but not to frustrate transitors.
We therefore deploy the snap check system, whereby we put snap checks at reasonable intervals along our highways. This was made to deter armed robbery, and even if it should occur, there will be an immediate response from the police. Now we can say without fear that highway robberies in Ghana had gone down drastically.
The representative of the Director General of the Burkina Shippers Council said Ghana's corridor is one of the important corridors as it registered a significant number of transit trade to Burkina Faso in 2023. He called on the Port Authority to work hand in hand with the economic operators to boost the transit trade.
Pour conclure, je suis profondément convaincu que
I'm very much convinced that with our exchanges with different operators, with other stakeholders, we will go very far with us sharing our different ideas to be able to solve the various challenges within these corridors, Burkina Faso and Ghana.
The Minister of Transport, Urban Mobility and Road Safety of Burkina Faso, in a speech read on his behalf by the Director of Cabinet, Mamadou Cissé, charged the delegation to address all the challenges confronting the economic operators of Burkina Faso in order to attract the needed business into the country.
Ghana ports, particularly the port of Tema, is one of the privileged ports being appreciated by the economic operators in the case of transit trade when it comes to diverse goods. We have realized that there's a reduction of transit trade in transit within the port of Ghana, and that is the reason why we invited the Ghanaian delegation not to lose their focus, look at satisfactory solutions.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has put in place some measures to cushion economic operators in Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger who import through the ports of Ghana. The measures are aimed at encouraging more transit cargo through the port of Ghana and also reducing costs at the port. Disclosing the measures to the economic operators in Burkina Faso capital Ouagadougou, the General Manager of Marketing and Corporate Affairs, Esther Jebidonko, disclosed that GPHA has hedged the fluctuation between the dollar and the cedi for the transit trade. Mrs. Jebidonko said another step the Port Authority has taken to relieve the transitors as far as cost is concerned is the volume-based rebate. She also stated that the number of rent-free days for dangerous cargo has been considered by the authority.
So the 5 days rent-free period was a problem for them. They've been complaining all this year. But because we want our partnership to grow, we have considered and we have made it 10 days now.
According to her, the Port Authority continues to satisfy its transit customers by providing land and warehouses for them so they can plan better. She said the ports of Tema and Takrade have drafts that can take any kind of vessels for all cargo types and urge the economic operators to use them for their imports. In order to improve service delivery to them, she averred that the Port Authority has procured equipment to improve the delivery of cargo to them.
We've also put some measures in place to improve upon the service that we deliver to our customers. And equipment provision is one of the key things that we are looking at. And so we have brought in those equipments that we use to deliver the cargo to them. We have tele-trucks. In recent time, the Port Authority brought in 27 tele-trucks, 2 mobile cranes. We are also expecting 10 top lifters. Those are our technical terms, but just to let you know that we are making the effort to increase the equipments that we have to deliver cargo to you.
She stated that the integrated customs management system, which is being operated by Ghana Link at the ports, is facilitating the clearance of goods to them. The Port Authority, she added, has provided 2 truck parks for the transitors to park there and complete their documentation in Tema and Paga. Meanwhile, the economic operators in Burkina Faso capital Ouagadougou have lauded the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority for the efficiency at its ports. The businesses said the ports of Ghana are the best in the sub-region when it comes to reliability and connectivity. The businesses disclosed this when a high-powered delegation from the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, led by a board member of GPHA, who is the president of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Clement Osayamo, paid a working visit to some economic operators in Ouagadougou. Some of the businesses visited include Hajj Ramon, Burkina Faso Chamber of Commerce, Burkina Shippers Council, UCRB, AGL, Sitasi, Bisa Gold, Food Trap, Group Hajj, Simaf, Kenis, Freight Forwarders, among others.
Qualité de travail avec nos amis transporteurs qui sont
interested in the deal with the Ghana Port, and their doors are always open. If we are ready, they are ready, and because Ghana, when you look at the distance among all the countries, Ghana, the distance is shorter, and also the quality of service that we deliver in our ports are also the best. So they are still very available for any good deal that the Port Authority will offer to them.
And that is very complex.
Thank you very much. The delegation is a very complete delegation, and that shows that you are giving such importance to the mission. He said earlier on that because they have other options aside our port, but they choose to do business with us. And he said it's true. They started with our port, and then later they moved to Togo, and they are back. So if they've come back, it means there's something about us that is attracting them. So, and we also said that because the efficiency of our work, the quality of services, that we have it.
Despite commending Ghana's ports for its efficient service delivery, the businesses outlined a number of challenges the Port Authority should avert its attention to. These include alleged police harassment on Ghana's corridor, unlawful auction of transit goods, payment of COVID levy, fluctuation in exchange rates between the cedi and the CFA, and VAT on transit. The Director General of GPHA, Michael Loguje, the Commissioner of Customs, Alhaji Seidu Idusu Idisa, and the Commissioner of Police in charge of General Services responded to the issues raised.
One of the challenges we have as ports is that most shippers trust their freight forwarders 100%. So once the freight forwarder says, this has happened in Ghana's corridor, you take it. You don't try to verify from the Port Authority that, look, we have information, ABC is the case, can you confirm? So, and that's why we have our office in Burkina Faso, we have our marketing team, you have their contact, we have the Director of Ports office. When there are just an email, your transitor says ABCD cost has increased in Ghana, just send an email. And the Port Authority will clarify that and confirm what is right and let you know what is wrong.
These checkpoints are not there because of Burkinabe trucks. It is a strategy which the police is using to combat armed robbery on our highways.
The delegation also met the Minister of Transport, Urban Mobility and Road Safety of Burkina Faso, where issues of mutual interest were discussed. After the successful 5-day trade mission, some members of the delegation shared their impressions on the engagement with the economic operators.
We are going to take measures to educate our boys on the road so that they refrain from this harassment leading to extortion and all those things. But we also ask them to help us to report such police personnel to the authorities so that we can take disciplinary actions.
Currently, we are planning for the next year's budget. So I believe some of these feedbacks, some of them are even common to our own traders in Ghana. For instance, the issue of the COVID levy has been a major complaint by traders in Ghana. And some of the complaints about the amount that we are charging for the transit monitoring devices. It's a good thing because we normally don't even look at what our competitors are doing.
In talking to our customers, we realized that they have given us some information on the port of Lomé and also Abidjan, the total cost of using our ports and these other ports. And so we will have to compare and see where we can cut down a bit so that we can attract the volumes from our customers.
We are going to sit down with our stakeholders and see how best we can position ourselves. Already we have some private warehouses in the metropolis. We need to talk to them and see how best we can give attractive rates to be able to attract the transit cargo.
While we are engaging in these conversations, listening to the challenges in both ports, listening to what is being done to sell our business, I think it's helpful while we are planning for Kita Port and the things we could do to attract customers from the Sahel region.
We came as a team. We've listened to the concerns as a team, and we are committed as a team to try and seek solutions. So ours is to go back and pick all the issues, put them into a report that will look at clear recommendations on what to do to be able to position us better. And once we have that clear, we'll work together just as we came on this mission with customs, with police, to try and pick the issues that concern every agency and seek some solutions.
So wherever there's an impediment that is jeopardizing their movement, jeopardizing their trading with us, I think that it's a concern to us to live by that and address them so that we can exist as the best port, the best hub in the entire West Africa and for that matter, even Africa.
All right, welcome back. So those were happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the weekend. Like I told you, we brought you highlights from the trade mission embarked upon by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. As well, they were joined by some stakeholders, the Customs Division, Ghana Regional Authority, JAPTO was there, and some other very important stakeholders that could not be left out. And you heard it all from, almost all the people that went there and those that matter. Indeed, we shall be going for our phrase or word of the day for tonight or this week. And remember, the word or phrase of the day has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. And today's word is feeder service. Feeder service.
A feeder service is a transport service whereby loaded or empty containers in a regional area are transferred to a mothership for a long-haul ocean voyage.
Welcome back. We are zooming into our discussion proper tonight, and tonight we're taking a look at the trade mission to Burkina Faso, which was under the auspices of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. In fact, this is a yearly affair, but for COVID-19, we truncated it for a while. Every year, there's something that the authority embarks on to woo, countries in our Sahelian, in our neighboring, landlocked countries. That's Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and as you rightly saw in the stories there, this year's was in Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, and we engaged everybody that mattered, or that matters, as far as the transit trade is concerned. So tonight we want to examine what actually happened, whether we actually, realized the objective for which this year's trade mission was organized, how it panned out, and some of the issues that came up, what the concerns of these transitors are, and how we intend to get these, concerns addressed. So it gives me pleasure this evening to introduce to us our General Manager, Acting General Manager in charge of corporate planning at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Mr. Khalid Nuhu. Good evening, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for obliging us, sir. We're grateful.
Thank you.
And also in the studios tonight is Mr. Ibrahim Musa, who is the Executive Secretary of the Joint Association of Port Transport Unions, JAPTU. He is also in the studios tonight, and he was part of the delegation that went to Burkina Faso. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
And thank you for obliging us as well. I'll begin with you, and because you are want to use the word neutral. I want to find out from you what your assessment of the trade mission to Burkina Faso is. What's your assessment? Because you were there, you took part in most of the sessions, you visited, some stakeholders and key players, in that country. I just want to find out from you what your assessment of the trade mission is.
All right, thank you very much for this opportunity. And I must commend you and your sponsors for the great job you're doing for the maritime industry.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And but before I go to your substantive question,
yes.
I would want to use your platform to extend my condolence to the entire JAPTU Ghana family. We suffered a major loss today, this morning. We lost one of our Chairman Nuru.
Oh.
He's no longer with us. He's gone to join our Maker.
Sorry about that.
Yes, our condolence to the family. And we pray that Almighty Allah would grant him rest in Jannatul Firdaus.
Amen.
Yes, so back to your question. For me, this was the first time I was participating in a mission.
A trade mission.
Yes, and I would say that from all indications, this was one mission that I believe was very successful. And I say successful based on some observation I made. If you look at the composition of the delegation itself, in the composition of the delegation alone, the port made a statement to have the Director General of the port, and then the President of Ghana Chamber of Commerce. You have the directors of all the ports of Ghana, the general managers and terminal managers, all in this delegation. Was one major statement to be made by the port, and it was made so well. The second part that I'm looking at has to do with the timing.
Right.
And I picked this from one of the submissions that the Director General made in one of our engagements, that it's in your time of crisis, in your time of needs, that's when you see who your true friends are. Yes, we are trading with Burkina Faso, but we are also building a relationship with them. And to have gone to Burkina Faso at a time where people actually will question the safety in Burkina Faso, security. We all know what's happening in the Sahel region. But for the Port Authority to decide to visit Burkina Faso with such high-powered delegation shows that we believe that relationships are built and are not bought.
Right.
And that our presence at that time is also a statement to the world that, look, irrespective of the situation in Burkina Faso, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is ready to work with them. But more substantive about this mission has to do with the quality of feedback that we were able
to elicit from
the people that we engaged. The discussions were very open, they were frank. As a matter of fact, we had an opportunity for our clients, both present and prospective, to evaluate our performance. And the manner in which they did that, for me, was the major takeaway. They were very frank, where we were doing well as a port, as a transit corridor. They mentioned it. But more importantly, and to meet the needs for this mission, was the areas they highlighted to be where we probably can do better. And I believe that the quality of that feedback in our basket puts us in a better position to serve our clients in a manner that is responsive to their need in a manner that puts the port ahead of its competition. So by and large, I would say this was a very high impact and remarkably successful trade mission.
Right. Thank you very much indeed for initial submission. Let me come to my own Acting General Manager, Corporate Planning, Mr. Khalid Nuhu, and find out from you. You also give us a brief assessment of the trade mission before we zoom into your substantive question.
Thank you very much, Bernard.
Kennedy. Bernard is a politician, sir.
Kennedy, sorry. Yeah. You know, when you're brothers, sometimes you miss the names.
That's true,
Yeah,
absolutely,
so
absolutely.
It's not out of place for me to call you Bernard.
I understand, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. And Musa has said it all.
Right.
Yes. And for me, the trade mission couldn't have taken place in any other month than the month of October.
Right.
Because that's the month we celebrate Customer Service Week. And we interacted with our customers. In fact, a very important segment of our customers, Burkina Faso. And as Musa indicated, our take-home or take-away was the openness of the discussions. They never hid anything from us. Where we were doing well, they pointed out, and where we have challenges, they mentioned it. That is our take-home.
Right.
We now have to strategize to look at our shortfalls and try to work on them in order to attain market dominance in this business.
Awesome. Right. Okay, so first of all, let me find out from you how important transit trade is to the Port Authority.
Well, for the purpose of your teaming viewers, let me take this opportunity to explain what is meant by transit trade or transit cargo.
Absolutely,
so
yes.
that we put the discussion
in context, yes.
Context,
right.
Yeah. When we say transit trade, you know, I realize that as part of your program, you've been throwing the maritime jargons.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. So in maritime transport logistics, when we say transit cargo,
yes,
these are cargo destined for other countries that are passing over through your ports to their final destination.
Right.
And they get to their final destination by land. So the connectivity is by land, or vice versa. That the cargo could also come by land and then connect to the sea. So we have transit inward and transit outward. This is different from transshipment. Transshipment is sea to sea leg. So the cargo comes, and it is not also destined for your country, it is destined for other sovereign nations, but it transits to. So it passes over through your port to the final destination.
Right.
And it goes by another seaward leg. That is what we mean by transshipment.
Right.
Both transit and transshipment are very important and significant for the Port Authority because in planning the port infrastructure, we always pay attention to transit and transshipment. At GPHA, we have made a strategic choice of becoming the leading trade and logistics hub to serve the West African sub-region, and by extension, the entire continent of Africa in the wake of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement.
Yes.
Therefore, all our investments in port infrastructure takes into consideration transit and transshipment trade.
Right.
Therefore, to harness the full potentials of our investment in port infrastructure, we cannot underscore the relevance of transit and transshipment.
Right.
The transit and transshipment trades are also very significant because it generates some sort of socio-economic activities in the port,
right,
in the form of cargo clearance process and transportation. Musa is here. He is the executive secretary of JAPTO.
Yes.
Exactly. So they are able to transport the cargo that comes as transit into the port to the neighboring countries, and by so doing, they create value. They add value to the transit business. And this value they add has a multiplier effect in the economy. And only God knows the end of that multiplier, because they earn their income from there, they also spend, it goes on and on and on. And apart from that, the teeming majority of our youth are employed to provide services in the transit terminal of the Port of Tema. You know, and their services generate income.
Right.
Okay, and they also spend, they buy food, they buy water, they spend on clothing, and so on and so forth. So it's a whole system of economic activity. And that is why this trade is indeed not necessarily important for GPHA alone, but important for the nation Ghana as well. It is very important for all of us. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll come back to you, but let me come to Mr. Musa and find out from you. You took part in transport sessions, during the trade mission. I just want to find out from you some of the concerns that were raised, because here tonight, that's one of the issues we are supposed to address. Some of the concerns of our transitors. Yeah. What are their problems? What are their challenges? What did they tell you when you went for these sessions?
Yes, in our interactions with the transporters, specifically the FETRB and then UCRB, yes, they brought out a number of issues. These issues generally centered around the cost associated, delays and cost associated with the delays in the enforcement of our road traffic governance regulations by the state institutions.
Right.
In specific terms, they mentioned the issues of multiplicity of barriers, police barriers, as a major concern. In one of our conversations, one participant even mentioned as many as 80 barriers on the corridor from Tema to Paga. And this is a major concern. They also brought up the issues of laissez-passer, that this process normally takes too long, sometimes.
What is laissez-passer?
It's an undertaking sort of that is given for foreign trucks that are seeking to enter the country.
Right.
And per the custom...
like a permit?
Yes, for them to come here. And per the custom regulations, as further explained by the commissioner, yes, this permit is supposed to be given for a period of up to about 90 days.
All right, 3 months. That's a quarter.
Yes, for 3 months. But for some reason, it's given for 30 days here. And the complaint, beyond the fact that this process is painfully slow for them, that when you are given the 30 days and you have to exit within the validity period, you are still not allowed to reuse the same laissez-passer, which was an issue. And the fact that if it expires, you need to go back to our borders to have it renewed, added to their frustration in this process. The issue of the axle load also came up to the extent that our axle control stations do not seem to be harmonized, do not seem to be in sync in the kind of readings that they give.
Right.
To the extent that sometimes you have the reading from the port
different from
the reading, probably, especially the reading in Tadiesu. In Tadiesu, there's this mobile van that is there, and that is a major source of worry for our transitors. And they also mentioned harassment And beyond the multiplicity of the borders, they talked about the demand for illicit payment by our uniformed officers. These are all things that go to add to the cost for, the transitors. And incidentally, these are issues that we as a union are quite familiar with. These are issues that we have engaged the relevant authorities at various levels on, especially, for example, somewhere, I think on the 14th of March this year, JAB2 engaged the Director General of the MTTD of the Ghana Police Service to highlight these concerns, especially the number of police barriers. Before that visit, we had gone on a road to check the number of barriers. And at that time, we had 64.
64.
Of those 64 barriers. Yes.
When was this?
This was in February, and we had the
February
meeting,
2023. Right.
Yes, and we had this meeting with the Director General MTTD on the 14th of March, 2023, and we brought these things up. The good thing about this meeting was that a week after this engagement with the MTTD boss, he also went on a mission to engage the regional commanders to explain to them why it's important for the officers there to stick to the main purpose of these barriers, which is to ensure security and to give confidence to the drivers instead of harassing them and making certain demands from them. We also have had engagement with the Ghana Highway Authority. We've had reason to question the accuracy and integrity of some of the scales. And 2 years ago, I remember it was on national TV where we had to demand for a check on the scale at Sola. And lo and behold, it came out that the scale was faulty. And yet it was being used, and transporters were being made to pay hefty penalties. These are all concerns.
Which was no fault of theirs?
No. Because for us, it's quite intriguing for a truck that loads from Tema port with a printout that shows that you are moving within permissible limit. You are cleared at the motorway, Dublo, Akom, and then you get to Tadiesu somewhere around Techima to be told that you are overweight. This even becomes more interesting when it's a containerized cargo with the custom seals there. And we think that it's important for us to add to the attractiveness of our corridor, transit corridor, for the Ghana Highway Authority to up their game. We have demanded for more frequent recalibration of these scales. So some of the issues, a good number of the issues, concerns that they brought up are subjects that we are very familiar with. And the good thing is that in our engagement with the relevant authorities, we go with our partners, representatives of our partner associations from the landlocked country, Burkina, Mali, Niger. So they know that we are interested in finding sustainable solutions to these challenges. And I believe that for them to have come up in the presence of such a high-powered delegation, the IGP of the Ghana Police Service was present, the Commissioner of Customs was also present, they heard it. So those of us who go for such discussions, we think this has given us a fresh opportunity to further tweak the arrangement to ensure that we take away these bottlenecks. Because once these things are taken care of, you can be sure that we will definitely be the leading transit hub in the sub-region.
West Africa, great. Thank you very much. Let me come to Mr. Khalid and find out from you. You highlighted in your earlier submission the importance of transit and transshipment trade to our ports, to the Port Authority, to Ghana for that matter. I just want to find out from you, what are the services we offer to these, transitors?
Okay. Thank you very much, Ken. The services that are offered by the Port Authority to the transitors varies a lot. From the vessel operation, because when the vessel is coming into the port and is said to contain transit cargo, the vessel would have to be navigated to safety to take berth. So that is marine. Or nautical services. Yes. That's how we call it. We don't want to be using the technical jargons too much. It's a nautical services. It includes the services of a pilot to guide the ship, the services of a towage to tow and guard the vessel. And whilst the vessel is at berth, she is occupying a space at berth and she's renting the space. And then there is also mooring services.
Right.
Then aside that, the cargo has to be offloaded from the vessel. And this is what we call, in our technical jargon, stevedoring services. So that is the loading or offloading of a transit cargo or any cargo that is on board the ship.
Right.
So once the cargo is offloaded from the ship, it has to be stored.
Right.
So we also provide storage services. And then finally, we deliver the cargo to their owners or their owners' representative who come and pick them to their final destination. It is during the storage and the delivery that is where additional service such as stripping the container, for instance, if it's a containerized cargo, that is what we call the unstuffing services. So these are basically the services. And then in addition to that, we work together with them always, and we try to engage them and give them a kind of free consultancy service that is not paid for anyway. So if they have any problem, if they have any challenges with any institution, we play a leading role to ensure that the problem is resolved, because we feel that the transit cargo or the transit consignment needs some kind of attention and protection. Yes.
All right, so let me find out from your candid opinion. You wanted to add something? Okay, briefly before I
also have to add that the issue of inadequate parking featured quite prominently in our discussion. And then especially parking for loaded trucks. Yes, the fact that they don't have adequate parking for loaded trucks came up. And then on the side of the Ghanaian transporters, we also took the opportunity to bring up the issue of the cargo sharing.
Right.
The fact that we think we can do better in the enforcement of the 1/3, 2/3 of the portions, and the need for us to disarm, so to speak, the weaponization of the fare fixing mechanism. Because Ghanaian transporters haul just 1/3. Anytime we have bulk cargo, the process of agreeing on a rate to charge becomes a major point of frustration for the shipper, and we think this kind of a banter is needless. We can cooperate more in that area instead of competing, because ultimately we will need to work with the shipper, and we are pushing for a more liberalized pricing mechanism where the market forces will interplay, and ultimately we believe this will also benefit the importers significantly. So these are some of the things that, the challenges, the concerns that came up. And I believe that as we go, I'm sure we will go into what we plan to do moving forward.
Absolutely, to get a result. Yes, Mr. Khaled, I just wanted to find out from you your candid opinion about transit trade in Ghana. What's the state of transit trade in our country?
Well, transit trade in our country for the past 5 years, at least, if I don't want to go back into history, as far as the volumes are concerned, it's more or less nothing than what I call stagnation.
Right.
Yeah. You know, we've heard that we started this business far way back in 2003 or so. That was about 20 years ago.
Yes.
Yes. And since then, we have seen gradual growth in the transit business. But as we hit 1 million mark, we stagnated.
Where did we hit the 1 million mark? When did we hit the 1 million mark?
1 million mark around 2018 or so.
2018?
Yes, yes. And since then, we've been hovering around 1 million mark. Yes, and we have not crossed up to 1.5, not even talk about 2 million tons.
Tons,
Yes, measured in tons. But container traffic has also not hit 100,000 TEUs yet. Yes. In 2021, we thought we were going to hit the 100,000 mark because we saw cargo traffic increase through the port. But still, we did about 90,000 TEUs. Yes. So traffic-wise, we are stagnating. And we are where we are because of the stiff competition.
Right.
And perhaps I must say also that maybe as a nation, we are not fully prepared for transit. Because if you look at our transit infrastructure, apart from the Port Authority that is doing well to improve infrastructure in the port to benefit the captive cargo that comes to Ghana and then the transit cargo that goes to the landlocked countries, the other areas are still not seeing any significant improvement.
Right.
If you look at our road network, I don't know of any of our international routes that is of high standards. And we have not been able to use rail transport for transit. And unfortunately, we have also not harnessed the full potential of our inland waterways. You could see that we are struggling with that infrastructure. Absolutely. Exactly. So in terms of volumes, we have reached a peak and then we are in a form of saturation, but we have to grow, you see. And when you look at also the regime, the kind of protocol for border crossing, you know, I am told when we went to Burkina that we don't have a single border post Burkina base. But to achieve your objectives in transit trade as a port authority and as a nation, you definitely would have to have a single border post where it acts like a one-stop shop. Both the Burkinabés and the Ghanaians would do all their checks at that point. And then when the cargo leaves that point, there's no need to check again. You cannot check at Ghana's border, and then you just cross some 15, 20 meters away, and then you are being checked again. What are the protocols there? There's no protocols. And when you look at also the legal regime, we have the legal and the tax regime. I think we have not been able to isolate the issue of transit because we are concerned about this continued auctioning of transit cargo. And when the law is being interpreted, you are told that that is what the law says. But can it give the transit business a kind of priority over the local cargo? Because this is a business we're actually looking for because they have options and they can move anywhere because we have neighbors. Our neighbors are also waiting to handle such cargo. So if the law says, for instance, a vehicle that spends 60 days has to be confiscated and disposed of, should we also take that blanket 60 days and apply it to transit? Is that the case? But that is what we do because the legal regime did not distinguish transit.
Well, it should be applicable.
Exactly. And when you look at also the tax regimes in terms of VAT, we are using what we call the domicile rule, that once the services is provided within the shores of Ghana, then that value addition should attract VAT. Yes, that is true. The services is provided within the shores of Ghana. But will you be able to isolate transit?
No.
Because those of us who had the opportunity to travel, sometimes you buy something in London.
Yeah.
When you get to the airport, you are told, go to the VAT center and reclaim.
Yeah.
They're able to reclaim.
Yeah.
We have to give them some concession. So when we box up everything like this,
yes,
it really affects the state of our transit business. And for me, it is not surprising that we are struggling to grow this business,
right,
because all these things act as impediments
right,
to the business. And any rational importer would look at other avenues, because we are told that in other areas, they don't talk about VAT on transit.
Yeah.
But in our case, we talk about it. And we talk about COVID levy on transit. And we talk about sanitation levy on transit. And once we talk about VAT, the associated levies follows, like the GET fund, the National Health Insurance, and so on and so on. All these things are burden the transit business.
And that's up to the cost of doing business.
Exactly. And so cost of doing business goes high. And then since they have options,
yes,
they can move.
They can explore other areas.
They can move.
Right. And let me come to Mr. Musa and find out from you. You mentioned the litany of issues that came up when you went for your discussions. You, for instance, mentioned the multiplicity of police barriers, the laissez-passer, the axle load, the harassment, demand for, illicit payments, and so on, plus the fact that, the issues of parking place for loaded trucks and all that. In all of this, they also have a role to ensure that we reduce the cost of doing business.
That's right.
So what would you tell me would be the role of the transporter in our quest to reduce the cost of doing business for them?
Yes, for us, we think one of the major things we can do to help bring the cost down is to work together with our partners to have a liberalized transport cost regime in the space. Yes, this current arrangement where one side of the arrangement has the monopoly in determining what the rate should be. It's not really friendly for the kind of business we want to promote in the transit sector. And we think that there's the need for us to have very serious dialogue with our counterparts, particularly in Burkina, because the real big bulk of the transit cargo is Burkina bound. And we think to have this discussion where we either agree on the bottom of the rates to be charged or the ceiling, then we allow the operators to fix this rate will be very helpful. But beyond this, we are already offering some concessionary rates for bulk importers.
Right.
If you're able to guarantee us a certain volume periodically, monthly, maybe 30,000 tons a month, yes, we are sure to give you some concessionary rates, and we are already doing that with some major importers. That is also another thing. And the fact that we are cooperating well with the port truck load-worthy inspection and certification process is our way of ensuring that our trucks are in good condition to move the cargo in a very safe and a swift and uninterrupted manner to ensure that we deliver the cargo in good time. That also helps to decongest the port, and it also grants what we call the importers some assurance of receiving their cargo.
Right.
Generally, we think that we need to work in a manner that allows for some level of predictability in our rates to allow the importers to be able to plan their imports well. But this we can achieve if the cargo sharing arrangement is really looked at properly, because currently what is happening is...
You mentioned 1/3, 2/3.
1/3, 2/3. It's not an agreement. It's just a convention. Technically, the Burkinabés are telling us they are being charitable, they are being benevolent in giving us that 1/3 because we still haven't signed that transport agreement. And we think for us as transporters, this is one major gap that needs to be addressed as quickly as possible. Ultimately, we will want to get to a level where the space is free for all to play. but that might be a more long term. But in the short term, let us get the transport agreement in place. And this is where we would want to appeal to our Shippers Authority to also take a greater interest in the cargo sharing arrangement.
Right.
Because currently, even our portion, the Ghanaian portion of the 1/3, doesn't actually come to us, but ends up in the hands of the agents, most of whom are foreigners, and end up giving portions of it to foreign trucks. So by and large, we think that we need to strengthen our relationship with our partner foreign transport unions to be able to put in place a reliable transport fare regime that is also friendly to the needs of the importer.
All right. So, Mr. Khalid, you heard some of the challenges he mentioned when they went for their sessions. I just listed them, before he began to answer the question. I want to find out from you whether you also picked different challenges that inhibit transit trade, or they're basically the same that has come to your attention.
Okay. One thing that has come to our attention during the discussions was the arbitrary shipping line charges. They were very concerned about that, because even our local importers have complained about some arbitrariness in the shipping line charges. They think that the shipping lines should have a harmonized tariff for the ports. And well, we
is it a peculiar situation to only Ghana, or it happens elsewhere too?
For me, what is causing this arbitrariness is the issue of the volatility in the market, especially the forex market. That is why, as part of our strategy or strategic initiative, we have pegged the exchange rates that will be used to invoice transit cargo for the next 3 months. And in January 2024, we would agree to set it for the next 6 months. You see, so the shipping line charges are actually denoted in USD, but convertible. So you pay it in local currency, you pay it in CD. But each shipping line will now determine the applicable exchange rates to use for conversion. And it varies from bank to bank. Today, even if you are talking of forex rates and you move from bank A and you move to bank B, you may likely have differences. You see, and that is what exists with the shipping lines. So the arbitrariness is critical, and we're looking at it whether we can have some conversation with the shipping lines. But these are difficult issues. You cannot force them. Yes. They also talked about mid-year review of the port tariffs. Yes, I think that falls within my control.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So because my department works directly on the tariffs. When we want to increase the tariff, we begin the engagement, and our expectation is that we are able to implement it at the beginning of the year, or we shall announce our intentions to increase the tariff and give the indication of the increases before the year closes, so that businesses can also plan with it. Fortunately, sometimes we get into the market midway, and it actually distorts predictability and stability as well as certainty. So it's something they actually complain about. And generally high cost of doing business because of certain charges from other agencies. And one thing that has come up strongly, Musa, was the issue of disinfection charges. Yes, they talked about it seriously, and it is adding up to the costs. And unfortunately, this is a cost that has been introduced to shippers, and they have to pay. We've been talking about it. We've been asking questions whether that charge is actually relevant, because if you talk of handling the cargo, the terminal operator or GPHA is at the forefront. So if the cargo is contaminated with pathogens, those at the forefront will first be affected before it even gets to the tunnel where it will be sprayed. So what are we achieving? And in this case, it averaged about $20 per TU or so. And it's adding to the costs. And they're making mockery of some of these things. They say, in other ports, they don't pay that. I had the opportunity to ask a question when I went to Antwerp, wanting to find out whether the advanced ports have also been charging something like that. It does not exist. So you ask the question, where from this? I've seen a letter one time from the Ministry of Health, yes, defending the charge, you know. But these are issues we have to look at critically.
They say it's a WHO requirement.
Exactly. But if it is WHO requirement, then it should be universally applicable. Exactly. It should be applied universally. So if you go to Port A, Port B, Port C, everyone should have it. Because it is a worldwide arrangement. But here is a case where we have taken the lead and it's seriously increasing the cost.
It was one of the issues that came up.
Yeah, it's one of the issues that strongly.
One of the major issues.
Yes, strongly. Yes, even local importers have been complaining about it. Yes, exactly. And as we talked about VAT on transit, major issue, and at a point, some of us felt that the Burkinabes were making mockery of us when they said at one of the meetings that if it were even malaria tax, they would understand. But to continue charging COVID tax when nobody wants to hear about COVID because of its devastating nature and its featuring in our custom declaration, they don't understand. You see, so it's my hope that once we are preparing for 2024 budget, yes, the finance ministry, maybe somebody is listening to us, this is a serious concern, very serious concern. Both local and international customers of the port are seriously complaining about these taxes. And something has to be done, about it.
Great. This is our report here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we're taking a look at how to promote transit trade, and we're bringing you some facts and highlights, some issues that cropped up during the GPHA-led trade mission to Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, our neighboring landlocked countries. And with me in the studios, Mr. Khalid Nuhu, who is the acting general manager in charge of corporate planning at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. And also in the studios, Mr. Ibrahim Musa, who is the executive secretary of the Joint Association of Port Transport Unions, JAPTU, in the port of Tema. We're going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the discussion. Please do stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Raw 95.
Well up with Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey,
choose Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Raw 95. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Telling my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects, and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
You're welcome back. I've been told by the production team that we can activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. And the number to dial is right on your screen is 020 5528353, 020-5528353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. Remember, we're taking a look at how to promote transit trade, coming on the back of GPHA's visit to neighboring Ouagadougou, that's the capital of Burkina Faso, on a trade mission together with some stakeholders, and what we seek to bring to the table as far as the concerns they've raised are concerned. I just want to come back to you, Mr. Musa, and find out from you what initiatives JAP2 has put in place to ensure that some of the challenges are ameliorated.
Doing quite a bit, and I think so far whatever we've been able to accomplish by way of helping to solve some of these challenges is a testament to the investment that the GPHA made in the reform of JAP2. And we always say this with glowing tribute to the General Manager, Marketing and Corporate Affairs. Because this was a very painful process, but she stuck to it, and today we are all seeing the benefit of it. For us, we think as an institution, one of the things we've done immediately is the introduction of this nationwide towing program for trucks. You know, Regulation 128 of LI 21 enjoin truck owners to take all such steps as will be necessary and sufficient to remove a broken down truck in a built up area within an hour. In a built up area, and then 2 hours in other areas. We realize that our colleagues from these landlocked countries come into the country when they are strangers to this space. when their trucks break down, which number to even call is an issue, where to get the right kind of towing service.
Okay.
So we're able to broker this arrangement with the Road Safety Management Services.
Road Safety Management Services. So you hold it there. Let's go on to the phone lines and welcome Abdul, who is calling us from Accra. And when we return, you continue with Road Safety Management Services.
Thank you.
Yes. Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Officer, how are you?
I'm terrific, by His grace. I hope you are doing well, too.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Please shoot.
My name is Abdul Rauf. I'm calling from Accra.
Yes.
Yeah, my problem is that GPHA people, they need to get a parking place for the transit cars. Because most of the times, the cars will load, or when they come to load, like, there's no any parking place. Recently, where they give them to even park, when it rains, the water will reach your waist level. It's not easy. So they are finding it difficult. And when they load and finish, before their advance will be ready and the papers and everything, they have to now come out because you are supposed to stay about three days inside when you load. So after 3 days, you pay the mortgage. So when you come out, there's no place for you to park and wait for your documents.
Right.
So they have to park by the roadside, and the same GPHA security and the police will come and lock your car and charge you another money. So there's no parking place. This is very important. So they have to look for that and then try to help us.
All right. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. I think the Port Authority has provided a parking area.
Okay, let me respond to that.
Yes, okay, please do, yes.
Yeah, it's part of our interaction with our transit customers when we went there. You take a customer feedback.
Right.
And customer feedback is not one way, it's definitely two ways. You tell them what you feel, and then they also tell you what they feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So this issue came up, and our GM Marketing and Corporate Affairs actually addressed it. When vehicles are loaded at the transit terminal, they are supposed to move out to the transit parking area. There is a vast parking area dedicated for that. When you move into that area, you are even given 3 days to stay there without any payment.
Right.
And after that, we begin to charge you something small so that you could also put pressure on whoever is supposed to give you your money so that you can move out.
Yes.
So the area he's referring to, so we have 2 parking slots for the transitors.
Yes.
We have empty trucks park.
And loaded trucks.
Yes, and loaded truck park area. So once you load inside the port, you're supposed to maneuver, come out, and then park at the dedicated loaded truck area. And when you discharge yourself from there, you are supposed to move. But we see some of them also park by the road shoulders. And when you ask, they say they are waiting for advance from the cargo owners.
Right.
That is not right.
Absolutely.
That is not right.
Okay,
so as part of our feedback to them, Madam Esther, our GM for Marketing and Corporate, was very specific on that. Right. So when you move out of the parking,
just move straight away. Don't
continue moving
on the shoulders of the road.
Don't park on the shoulders, because when you do that, parking on the shoulders of the road, the engineers will tell you, damages the road.
Absolutely.
You see, and this is the road we are all using and we are complaining that we don't have adequate and reliable roads.
Absolutely.
So when you park on the shoulders of the road with that heavy load, it breaks the ground.
It sinks.
Exactly, it sinks.
Yes. Right.
And the small revenue we are earning, we'll now use it to repair the roads.
Absolutely. So let me go on to the phone lines again and welcome Isaac, who's calling us from Kumasi. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Great. Please shoot.
My issue is about the transporters.
Transporters?
Yes, please.
Right, okay.
What I've witnessed is that the Burkina-based trucks, they've been keeping on loading, overloading, and it's been destroying our roads. So if the authorities can make something about it, that would be very, very, supportive. You know, our currency or our economy is not that big now. But the authorities, they should do something better for us so that we all be feeling better.
All right. Thank you very much, Isaac. We are grateful to you for your call. The number to dial is right on your screen, 020-552-8353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. We have barely some 5 minutes to wrap up. So, yes.
So quickly to respond to his issue, yes. When we went to Burkina, yes, this issue also strongly came up, yes. And the Ministry of Transport of Burkina also has some plans to phase out those kind of unconventional vehicles.
Yeah.
You know, they are very long in size, and when they load, they also overload up to a top. So they are coming out with some protocols, okay, and they would want Ghana to also make inputs in that protocol.
Right.
So as part of the report, I think Musa, it came up. Yes, all of us will feed into it, and together would fine-tune the regime to ensure that, look, we're able to cut off those kind of trucks on our road.
This one says, hello, Iron Port. My name is Humu in Tema. Mr. Nuhu mentioned that the transit trade provides employment for the teeming youth who provide services at the transit terminal in Tema. May we know some of these services he speaks of?
Well, when we talk of services,
sir, before you answer that, let's go to the phone lines and welcome Mustafa, who is calling us from Bolga, that's Ape's regional capital. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm terrific. I hope you are well, too.
I'm very well.
Please shoot.
Yes, I actually want to continue with the question that other man asked about the Burkina Faso's truck. Sometimes you can see the trailer alone is almost about 20 or 30 ties. And that one also, as he said, damage our route. Another one I've also observed is that those cars are almost an articulated tracks, but joined one. They are almost an articulated tracks length, but they are one. And normally, I'm a teacher. I travel from Bolga to Navrongo. When they get to these curves, they can't curve straight. They have to go to the other side before they can get their space outside. So please, I think Ghana authority have to do something about that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much indeed for your call. Our very good friend from...
Okay, quickly to Umu's question, where we talk about employment to the youth. You know, the transit terminal in the port of Tema is dedicated for handling transit cargo, especially the containerized cargo. So when we have containerized cargo to handle, that is strip the container, and then load the trucks and lash. We also go out to pick labor from Ghana Dock Labor Company. So these youth who are unemployed and perhaps will not even have daily bread, will go and register at Ghana Dock Labor. And when we need their service, go to Dock Labor and pick them. They come to and they work in the port and get their daily bread. So this is where they get their daily bread. And the multiply effect of this daily bread that they get, what they get as their daily wage, is enormous. You can't even quantify it. Because when they get money, they go to the food market, buy food. The owner of the food joint would also sell and then buy something. So the multiply effect of whatever they are paid into the economy is enormous. It's rather unfortunate that as a port authority, we are unable to establish the economic footprint of the ports. Elsewhere, when you talk of the port, they are able to tell you that the port contribution to GDP is this percentage. You know, we are now going to undertake a comprehensive study to establish exactly the footprint of the economic footprint of the port. And we can establish maybe as a segment the economic footprint of the transit business. You know, so these are some of the things.
Thank you very much, sir. So let me come to you. You would have the last word. I just wanted to find out from you. We under 1 minute. If you can tell your membership and your stakeholders under 1 minute, what are your takeaways from this particular seminar, this particular trade mission was, and how you intend to deal with some of the issues going forward. Just under 1 minute, and then we'll wrap up because we don't have enough time.
Yes, I think from the mission, it indicates that we are not in a bad place, but we can be in a better place. A number of things that are impeding our growth can be described as self-inflicted. And I think that if we take the required actions in resolving some of these challenges that came up or concerns that came up during the mission, we will only be the better for it.
Right. Thank you very much indeed. So that's how we wrap up on tonight's edition of Iron Pod here on Metropolitan Television. We say big thanks to Mr. Khalid Nuhu, Acting General Manager, Corporate Affairs, Corporate Planning, I beg your pardon, Corporate Planning, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and indeed Mr. Ibrahim Musa, who is the Executive Secretary of the Joint Association of Transport Unions at the Ghana Ports and Harbours, at the port of Tema. We thank them there. The two gentlemen we'll be having a discussion with. Remember, we've been looking at how to promote transit trade emanating from the trade mission to Burkina Faso embarked upon by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and other stakeholders. Next week, God willing, we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of Iron Pod. To say big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Regional Authority, GPHA PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. Remember to watch the abridged version of Iron Pod on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television. My name is Kennedy Mona. We wish you a super week ahead, and we entreat you to keep watching the rest of our programs here. And God willing, next week we shall meet again. Good evening, and thanks for watching.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Yes. That you also join them because your boyfriend doesn't have money.
The boy.
So we won't say Obi or Yado or class, we won't say bedroom baby no. That's in the Panama born. No matter any fearful, and any fearful. Yeah, broken out.
You are with a man and you know where the encore baby you are just choking there for the meantime.
I will see ladies first, but how dare me break the rule?
Who be man who come back and say, "Give you credit." What's that? Why too cheap, bra?
Mr. Menanti must be me change me home. And so, why didn't Shame?
20,000, like what am I doing?
Then
I saw you.
Not giving sexual commitment. Don't expect financial commitment.
The thing said, we cheat the